Hello everyone, welcome to my first video, Self-Love and Happiness. I hope that this info is able to help you for yourself or to help someone else. I will be covering a variety of topics including self-love, so let's take a deep breath, clear our minds, and just talk openly about the importance of self-love. So to me, self-love is often overlooked and underrated. It doesn't often get the attention it deserves from us until we've either hit rock bottom or until someone mentions self-love to us, which then forces us to think about it. Or maybe we speak about self-love to others, but we don't show it on our own day-to-day lives. We go through life knowing who we love our parents, our siblings, always searching for the next boyfriend to love, but not even realizing that we are the love that we are so often searching for. We don't even know ourselves, yet we're searching all over for something called love in other people. So what does it truly mean to love yourself? Like I said, if no one ever brings up the importance of self-love to you, you will likely miss the true importance of it for a good while. So let me start by saying that self-love to me may be different than what self-love means to someone else. And that's cool. But to me, self-love is a deep love for self that gives you the ability to recognize the good and the bad about yourself. However, choosing to accept all of who you are without feeling the need to change it. And then using that love to represent how you treat yourself and how you allow others to treat you. So to me, your self-love is a reflection of how deeply you care for yourself. So let's actually sit back and think about ourselves for a minute. Like really think about you and who and what you represent. Who are you? You are literally the only version of you that is here. God created you, just one of you, and you were born with predetermined gifts and an entire roadmap that God already knew and planned for you before you even arrived on earth. There's this one quote that says, "How cool is it that the same God who created mountains, oceans, and galaxies looked at you and thought the world needed one of you too?" Like, really? How dope is that? Like, I was created for a reason, but even better than that, I was created, period. Sometimes we get in these situations and we find ourselves lost or losing more and more of ourselves because of our involvement with a certain thing or a certain person. And maybe there was a time that you can think back on, or maybe even now, where you found yourself just lost. We forget about our power within and that we were created for a purpose and not by accident. And when you're fully able to understand those things, you realize the power and position of yourself. And pause there, because by position, I have to reinforce that you have to love yourself despite what position you are in. No degree, title, school, job, or man can make you. And by knowing the position of yourself, I mean the ability to fully see how worthy you are with or without that thing. You do not stand on any sort of mediocre or average level. So moving on, no one can be you for you. You have been placed here to stand up and to be the best version of yourself, because there is only one of you, and when you go, there will never be another you. You may have children and they may have your features, but they are not you. So it is your absolute responsibility to show up for yourself and realize that you are you for a reason and that you matter. I freaking love talking about self-love because there's such a big difference between being cocky and conceited about yourself and realizing the power within yourself. The idea of self-love and just being this one person and being in control of what I do and where I go just amazes me. You have no limits. You came into this world as a single individual, and you must maintain the mindset that you are enough to make it through whatever comes at you because you are counting on you. You cannot allow anyone else to determine you for you. We let no good boys and men alter our perceptions of ourselves, and when we really realize how much we lost ourselves in trying to please them, we're totally embarrassed by how we let ourselves down. But the beauty in it all, regardless of any given situation, is that you always have the power to rise back up and to be built back up and to stand up again. You are never too low that God can't help you or continue to work on you. You just have to believe that you are worthy and able. So regardless of where you are in life, be mindful that you aren't allowing someone to steal your image away from you, making you hate parts of yourself, your flaws, your laugh, your hair, your height, your weight, all the things that make you different. Whatever it is, do not let anyone steal that unique beauty from you. When you are able to see beauty within yourself, you surely do not have to go out of your way to prove it to anyone else. And with social media, goodness gracious, people are dying to be seen and approved by other people, not even being themselves and not even realizing that a little piece of self dies every time we think we have to go out of our way to get other people to like us just based off of what we post. You have to love yourself more. You cannot allow anyone to determine your worth for you. You are fully responsible for showing and telling the world that you already know how worthy you are and that you won't compromise who you are for who anyone else wants you to be. I'm telling you, when you truly know that you are one of the only people that you have, the best person on your team, you will not put yourself in a position that could possibly put that at risk. People who have true self-love just carry themselves differently. They choose their people wisely. They don't put up with just anything or allow themselves to be placed in just any situation. They're mindful because they realize that they have to protect themselves. Even when I get in arguments now or if someone upsets me, I truly have to think about my reaction because I care so much about myself. I think to myself, like, do I truly deserve to be angry? Do I need to allow this to upset me that much and have that much control over me? Sometimes it is inevitable and unavoidable, but I just don't want that kind of negative energy consuming me if it doesn't have to. When you love yourself, you are very mindful of the type of people and energies around you. Because like I said, you have to protect you, and that's not anyone else's responsibility but your own. You know how some parents are very careful about whose house they let their kids stay at? Well, that's exactly how you have to be with yourself. Or like, you don't smoke, but you're surrounded by a group of people who are smoking. What is that doing for you? Be mindful of those things that you allow in your space, because what you accept can become a direct reflection of you if you allow it to. So be careful to accept vibes that enrich, elevate, and empower you, not vibes that are threatening, destructive, and trying to break you. Self-love is truly the best love, and it sets the tone for every other relationship that you have in your life. I am a firm believer in the fact that you teach people how to treat you. If you disrespect yourself, it is likely that other people will be okay with disrespecting you. If you're quiet and you avoid tough situations instead of standing up for what you truly believe in within yourself, people will most likely take advantage and walk over you. But the beauty in all of that, again, is that you ultimately have the end decision. You get to choose to walk away when a situation no longer serves you. You get to choose yourself first when it seems like no one else will. But you have to decide how you, insert your name, deserves to be treated. How does Ashley deserve to be treated? Or you can ask anyone around me how I allow myself to be treated. And that's with respect. That's with trust. That's with honesty, loyalty. That's with laughter. That's with good vibes, peace, and happiness. Not a whole lot else serves me anymore. If you love yourself enough, you will not accept for people to treat you like just anything. And that goes for friendships. That goes for relationships with a man, relationships within your family, at work, at school, whatever it is that you feel that you are truly inside, pull that out of you to stand strong for you, and don't allow yourself or anyone else to treat you less than that. We have to realize that there are enough blessings to go around for all of us. There's enough success, there's enough money, there's enough love for all of us. So you are not missing anything. Use what God gave you. It is your job to use that. You don't have to be upset because someone else has something you want. You can easily be happy for them. Pray for yourself for whatever it is that you want. We must realize that we are in competition with no one else except ourselves. Our own minds try to convince us that we'll feel better if we make fun of someone else or if we laugh at another female's flaws. We have all this jealousy built up and don't even realize it. And in reality, that does nothing except show our lack of love for ourselves. You can give other people compliments and it won't dim your light at all. You won't be any less because you gave someone else a little more. So remember that. Don't let friends convince you that it's cool to sit around and talk negatively about other people who have no inspiration to grow or become better for themselves. We have to become more focused on the building up of ourselves and less focused on the downing of someone else. There's so much work for us to do for ourselves. We don't have time to focus on other people. So switching gears a little, I want you guys to give yourself a meaningful compliment. Tell yourself exactly who you are and exactly what you expect out of this life. Write it down if you have to. Oftentimes, it's more difficult for us to compliment ourselves than it is to think of a nice compliment for someone else. Oftentimes, we're our own toughest opponents. We're usually much harder on ourselves than we even have to be. We have to learn the power of beating out our own negative thoughts, change our own negative perspectives and views on things, and find safe places and things to do when we do come across those thoughts of negativity. The goal is to prevent ourselves from becoming so consumed in darkness that we forget about the ability to get back to the light. We don't necessarily have to be in the light to find the ability to love ourselves, but in order to maintain that love despite negativity that may surround us, we do have to be in a place or a mindset of light. So it's our jobs to take back control of our thoughts so that we can shift them to becoming more positively focused. Affirmations are a good way to focus on self-positivity. Affirmations make us more conscious of our thoughts and have the ability to help us stay in control of our thoughts instead of letting our thoughts control us. So to affirm something means to declare firmly and to assert something to be true. They can be I am statements. So some examples you guys can use are: I am a success in all that I do. I feel happy, healthy, and amazing. I am a money magnet. My mind is clear, focused, and energized. I am not a mistake or a result of my past hurts. I am not my burdens. I am free, etc. The cool thing about affirmations is that they don't even have to be true for you to speak them into existence. They're just a quick and easy way to keep your mind focused on the good and where you're going. We just have to be mindful of the thoughts that we entertain and the things that we say out of our mouths, especially about ourselves, because we are the first ones to think and then hear whatever it is that comes out of our mouths. So be mindful. And what I'm not saying is that bad things won't come your way with a shifted mindset. More things may actually come because you learn to not perceive everything that comes at you as bad anymore. It's the power of knowing that when difficult things come our way, positive thinking can help shift your thinking from a victim mindset to a victor mindset. If all you speak is negative, that is the majority of what will be returned to you. But if you speak and seek positive things, that is what will be returned to you. It's about helping yourself through tough times so that when they occur, you're not referring back to your old ways, forgetting about yourself, and just trying to fix everything with something temporary. It's about being mindful and learning how to talk to yourself first, or talk to God, or doing whatever it is that will allow you to peacefully get through it. Because the goal of all of this is to not destroy ourselves when we are the best person on our own team. Make sure you're putting out your best so that the best can be returned to you. There's always room to improve, and to work on ourselves is an ever-growing, never-ending process that just gets better, hopefully, every day. There is already more than enough negativity in the world, though, so we have to be sure that we're not one of the people who are adding to it, because there are going to be so many more situations that are going to be thrown at you that are going to try to deter you or force you to think that God doesn't love you or that you are unworthy of loving yourself. And that is exactly why you have to already have your self-love established within, so that when these situations come about, you can be reassured that you are unstoppable regardless. There are enough people in this world who show hate because of their lack of love for themselves. I have to question when people are rude to me or people around me, how they really feel about themselves. We all question those cashiers who are like bad with customer service, who has an attitude when we walk up to the counter, barely says a word when we're buying something. And it's like, whatever they're going through, they let it affect them so much that they brought it to work with them. And instead of talking to the people that are forced to be in their presence and maybe get something from those small interactions, they're sitting in their misery while at work. So now every person who interacts with them is just like, blah. Stuff is going to happen, but that girl is way too blessed and way too beautiful, way too much of something to sit at work with that much anger. Then on the other hand, you can't walk around through life making fun of every girl you see and then expecting people to treat you good so that you can feel great about yourself. No, you have to be the person who is not afraid to stand up or stand out from the crowd. People may expect you to be weak. They probably expect you to have an attitude, so don't do it. Give them kindness, give them light, give them the complete opposite of everything they thought was going to break you, because you are greater and better than that. You are special and you treat people well because you love yourself. When people act out towards you, you don't have to do the same thing back. Not every situation deserves a response or a reaction, and sometimes you just have to choose what's more important for you. Is being right more important, or is your peace of mind more important? People are going to test you, especially when you're trying to do right. But you are better than a lot of things, so you have to choose for yourself and decide what you deserve to put up with and what you deserve to respond to. We get so caught up trying to get other people to like us or letting other people's opinions shape us that we don't even realize that we have to love ourselves first. Don't give anyone else the power to define you for you. Don't get consumed in seeking or gaining attention or approval from other people who are not even deserving of all that you have to offer. Because Because if someone makes you feel less of yourself or less than them, you don't want them around you anyway, honestly. The people who are meant to be in your life will notice you. They will see you. They will appreciate you. You won't have to beg, cry, or steal for the people who are meant to be in your life. So love yourself enough to know that you are worthy and enough to know the kind of treatment that you are deserving of. Maybe you think you can't fully love yourself until you change something about yourself first. Or maybe because you think you're too fat or not smart enough or not pretty enough. Whatever your issue may be, I need you to remember that you are the best thing that you have. So treat yourself right. Who we are is the love inside of us, and it is that love alone that determines our value. Someone out here has it way worse than you do. Someone else out here is happier with less than what you have right now. So be grateful for who you are and for what you have. Be grateful for who God blessed you to be, because you are one of a kind. We all have individual things that we want to work on that we feel would make us better, but you are still absolutely amazing the way you are. It's time for us to start accepting who we are and not allowing others to determine that for us. And remember that happiness does not depend on circumstances. There are people in this world who have every reason to be happy who are not. Then there are people who we think have nothing to be happy about, yet they are. Happiness comes from within, not with what you have. I heard a preacher say once that what you really want is joy, not happiness, because happiness is based off of what happens to you. So as soon as the situation is no longer in your favor, you've lost your so-called happiness. But you don't want your happiness to be that easily controlled. You want to be eternally, deeply happy to the point where even when your situation is not favorable, you're still standing strong in a genuinely happy place. And I believe in order to maintain that kind of happiness, you have to have God. You have to believe in God, because to me, God is happiness, love, peace, joy, and everything else great that we are looking for outside of ourselves. But God is in us, so the happiness that you think you need to find somewhere else is actually already within you. So with the belief and power of God, you have the ability to claim your happiness. A happiness that stays, that is seen when people see you. A happiness that does not fade, even when you're pissed or in a bad mood. You cannot break a person who seeks their happiness in God. So remember that you are responsible for you. And the light is within you. And so is the power to find happiness within yourself. Nobody is you, and that is the power that you have. You are your longest commitment. Nobody has to deal with you as long as you have to deal with you. So marry yourself first, because you honestly have to accept yourself through richer and poorer, through sickness and in health, and until death do you part. Loving yourself is the best thing that you can do for yourself. You have to know your worth. We must be mindful of the greatness that is within each and every one of us. God blessed us with all of these individual, unique talents and abilities. We have the power to be great individually and even more powerful as a team. But when you learn how to treat and love and respect yourself, you do better at treating others the same way. You may have to be the special ones out of your friends, your families, out of your work, or at school, wherever you go. Maybe you only have seen bad attitudes, but be that light that shines at all times. You have to be a game changer. Love yourself so much that you know better than to fall for situations that you don't belong in. Realize who you are and force yourself to love yourself deeper. The best thing is that it doesn't even matter at this point how you treated yourself yesterday. What's important is that you can start right now. As simple as you are, with nothing but yourself. You can start and you can love yourself right now, unapologetically. And sometimes we may have to spend time alone with ourselves so that we can focus on what we like and love about ourselves. Sometimes we're around our friends and our family so much that we really don't know what we like without the influence of others. Make sure you learn to put time aside to get to know yourself. We have to treat ourselves better. My greatest goal for you is to just love yourself more than anything in the world and to know your worth so that you know what you deserve. Some of you may be facing some pretty tough odds that you'll have to return to when you click off of this screen. Everything you have gone through or are currently going through is simply shaping you into the person God is calling you to be. You are where you are for a reason. You have already survived 100% of your worst days, which proves just how strong you are. You are beautiful. You are enough. You are great beyond measure. You are blessed and highly favored. Nobody can limit you because greatness lies within you. You are amazing. You don't have to go looking for love or something special in other people because it already is within you. Don't let anyone convince you that you aren't worth gold. You are going to accomplish great things and nobody can stop you but you. Don't be afraid of being different. Be afraid of being the same as everyone else. You are loved. You are wonderfully made. You have purpose. You are a masterpiece, just trying to masterpiece. God has a great plan for you. Be aware that the love inside of you is for you. So use it for you. Use it to love you. You weren't born to live for anyone else but you and God. So forget about everyone else and their opinions. You don't need anyone else's validation for your life. Prove your strength to yourself. Prove your worth to yourself. You were given worth the day that God decided that the world needed one of you too. But it's your job to acknowledge that. Start looking in the mirror and smiling back at that person who's staring at you, because she's been through some things and she's still growing and learning as she goes. That person looking back at you needs to survive. She needs to know that she has you to count on. The person inside of you is counting on you. I am counting on you. God is counting on you. And you can't be your best self until you love yourself. And it won't be an easy journey. Learn what works for you in tough times and at times when you feel low or like you're doubting yourself. It's okay to have tough times. Just don't give up on yourself. Don't ever think so low of yourself that you think you don't belong here. Realize that you are everything. You are magic. You are not here by mistake. You are here for a purpose. You are here because you are loved. Don't you dare forget it. Don't you dare give up on yourself. Wear your imaginary crown every single day and keep your head up in good times and in bad. The person inside of you is a fighter. You are a soldier. You are built to last. Love is all inside of you and you deserve to love yourself more. You are so deserving of the very best. Make sure you give it to yourself first. Take my advice and learn how to really love yourself. Find the things that make you happy and just live out loud. When our minds are filled with light, there's no room for darkness. When we understand who and what we are, there's no room for pain and confusion. You are God's gift to the world. I am so blessed to have this opportunity to speak to you. God loves you. I love you. And I pray that you love yourself. I pray that this helps someone. Thank you so much for watching.